Good afternoon to all. Thank you for joining the Q4 and FY18 results conference call of our company. On today's call, I have with me our CFO, Mr. Mayur Padya, as well. Let me take this opportunity to introduce our company to the new participants. Bodal Chemicals Limited is the most integrated dye stuff company and also the biggest manufacturer of dye intermediates in India. Its product range covers dye stuff, dye intermediates, and basic chemicals broadly, following under specialty chemicals. It contributes to about 20% of India's capacity and 5% of the world's capacity for dye intermediates. Bodal Chemicals has capacity of manufacturing over 25 varieties of dye intermediates and around 150 varieties of dye stuff, which are principally used as raw materials in textile, leather, paper, and other dye consuming industries. Out of total production, about 30% is exported to over 45 countries across the world. Recently, our company has received the prestigious Award of Excellency from ChemExcel for outstanding exports for financial year 17. The award was received on 4th April 2018. Coming to our financial results, I hope all of you have got an opportunity to see our financial results and analyst presentations filed with the stock exchanges and uploaded on our company's website. For the full year ended on 31st March 2018, Bodal Chemicals has reported consolidated net revenue was lower by 7.5% to rupees 1,151 crores. EBITDA was lower by 13.8% to 203 crores, and PAT was lower by 8.3% to 121 crores. During the year, our EBITDA margin was at 17.7%, and our PAT margin was 10.6%. Margins were marginally lower than the year-on-year due to higher material costs than what were anticipated at the beginning of financial 18 and relatively strong prices of one of the main products, sulfone, in FY17. However, as you will notice, our EBITDA margin and PAT margin are now consistently around 18% and 10% respectively for all the quarters of FY17-18. During the year, our tax rate was lower by 1.6% to 33.2%. During the full year, sale of products of our dye stuff grew by 23.4%. Dye intermediates were lower by 15.7%, and basic chemicals were lower by 9.5% respectively. The year witnessed a continued increase in crude prices, major hurricane in US, which affected a lot of business, change in technology in Europe for caustic, and significant movement in currency, which impacted our business. For the quarter ended 31st March 2018, Bodal Chemicals has reported standalone net revenue was lower by 2.1% to 285 crores. EBITDA was lower by 10.9% to 49 crores, and PAT increased by 30.8% to 39.7 crores. During the quarter, our EBITDA margin was at 17.4%, and our PAT margin was at 13.9%. During the quarter, our tax rate was lower by 7.5% to 30.1%. Sale of our products of our dye stuff grew by 46.8%. Dye intermediates sales were lower by 25.6%, and basic chemicals grew by 9.6% respectively during the quarter. During the quarter, the exports grew by 48%. Coming to our subsidiaries, associates and new project stabilization work of SPS and Trion Chemicals are at an advanced stage. We believe that these businesses will start adding to the bottom line from FY second half 2019. We will discuss this in details during the call. Talking about the global scenario, the H-acid and vinyl sulfone business has largely been affected in China over the last 15 to 20 days, and due to further strong environmental remediation measures being enforced and closure of the biggest player in China. This has presently led to H-acid prices firming up to 750 rupees per kg, and vinyl sulfone prices is about 325 rupees per kg. We continue to be excited about our strong foundations, new projects, and our growth in the coming years. As a part of future expansion and new projects, the company has recently acquired land at PCPI at Dahej, aggregating about 4.82 lakhs square meters from GIDC. At the beginning of the year, we had mentioned that we view this year as a consolidation year for our future growth. We had also mentioned that we anticipate this year to be flattish over FY16-17. We look forward to discussing this in more detail over the conference calls today. I now request Mayur to walk you through the financial performance in detail.
Thank you, Ankit Bhai. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining our Q4 FY 2018 result call. Figures mentioned on the call for Q4 FY 2018 are on standalone basis, and FY 2018 are on consolidated basis. Let me take you through our result highlights using our analyst presentation. Slide 4 provides detail of the quarter's financial performance compared to corresponding quarter 4 of last year. Slide 5 provides sale of products mix for the quarter. Please note that this is based on net revenue and it does not include operating income. In addition to the product-wise revenue figures, let me provide you with the product-wise production data in metric ton. For Q4 FY18, dye intermediate is 5,894 metric ton, which is 3% higher compared to corresponding Q4 of FY17. Dye stuff is 4,116 metric ton, which is 25% higher compared to corresponding Q4 of FY17. Basic chemical is 50,081, which is almost similar to the corresponding last year's fourth quarter. At the same time, yearly data are there in slide 29 and 30 in the presentation. Slide 6 in the presentation provide a graphical comparison of quarter's financial performance. Full year's performance, that is FY18 result, slide 8 to slide 10 provides our FY 2018 financial results. Slide 11 in the presentation provides capacity utilization for the company, that is in division-wise. Slide 12 in the presentation provides financial of our subsidiaries and associate, that is SPS and Trion. Our leverage and rating, slide 15 in the presentation provide that as on 31st March 2018, our net equity was 0.3x and net debt to EBITDA was 0.6x. Our rating by CARE is stable, but we are happy to share with you that we have done rating exercise through India Rating, and they have given us long-term rating of A+ and short-term rating of A1+. Slide 17 provide our shareholding and listing data. Slide 19 to 23 provides the management comments and outlook for FY19 to 20. We now welcome all your queries on the conference call.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touch-tone phone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Giriraj Daga from KM Visaria. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, team. A couple of questions from my side. If you can just give some kind of a guidance for in terms of production, what kind of numbers we are looking at in terms of dye stuff and dye intermediates. And if you can also club it with the subsidiaries performance, like we expect better performance. But what can be the change in delta?
Yeah. See, as far as dye intermediate is concerned, standalone, that will remain more or less stable. There is a slight improvement possibility in the numbers. But as far as dye stuff is concerned, new facility has started performing. So 12,000 metric ton new capacity, we are anticipating on an average 50% utilization for the current year.
Okay.
And next year it will reach to almost optimum level. That's about 80%.
Sure. In terms of subsidiaries?
Sorry, subsequent years?
Subsidiaries, I mean.
Yeah. In SPS processors, H-acid facility is now fully performing. And vinyl sulfone facility, we are anticipating it will start contributing from next quarter. Next quarter.
Okay, so what kind of revenue we can look at in the SPS and Trion?
SPS, presently, last year it has done about 74 crore turnover.
Correct.
And another about 90 crore turnover is possible. So totally, it's 175 crore turnover is possible in SPS.
Okay.
Once the vinyl sulfone facility is fully functional on an annual basis.
Okay. And how about Trion?
Trion, we did only 10 crore turnover last year. And here we are facing some raw material prices hike issue.
Okay.
It has three raw material, caustic, chlorine and cyanuric acid. And prices of all these three raw material has increased in last about 4 to 6 months from 30 to say 100%. And finished good, that is TCCA, that prices has not yet improved to that extent. So we are waiting and that finished good prices to improve and stabilize.
Okay.
So we are hopeful that also will start performing from next quarter.
Okay. My next question is on the prices. You mentioned about like H-acid 700 and VS vinyl sulfone 325. What was the fourth quarter average, if you can also give us?
Yeah, sure. Fourth quarter, vinyl sulfone's average was 239.
Okay.
And H-acid was 360.
Okay. My last question is on the working capital and capex. So we see a nearly 110 crore increase in the receivables, despite our revenue was actually lower in the last quarter. So what explains this? And second, what was the capex we have done in FY18?
Yeah. See, receivables last year was a bit lean year. So at that time, pressure was us on to sell the product. So our customer was enjoying a better credit facility compared to other times. At the same time, last month itself, we had about 115 crore turnover. And that is in net terms. And in last 4 months, gross sales was about 487 crore. So it was a bit higher compared to the normal time. Another reason was, in last quarter, if you have seen the presentation, our export has increased. Our dye stuff has increased. So normally, dye stuff and in export, credit expectancy by a customer is bit higher compared to the local.
Okay.
Last 2 months, export was almost 43% of our total revenue. And for last quarter, it was 39%. So that has also led to increase in sales data number.
Okay.
So these are some reasons, but we anticipate it will once again be smoothened within 2-3 months.
Okay. And what is the capex for FY18 and FY19 guidance?
We have done die stock expansion and cogeneration power plant. These two projects are completed. We spend about 56 crore in die stock expansion.
Okay.
57 crore in cogeneration power plant.
Okay.
Our thionyl chloride plant is under process, and we have spent almost 15 crore in that.
Okay.
Maintenance capex was about 20 crore. And we have acquired that GIDC land at Saika.
Okay.
That was about 85 crore.
Okay.
This is the capex.
And next year, what number we are looking at?
Sorry?
Next FY19 capex guidance?
FY19, whatever capex is pending, that is thionyl chloride, that we will complete. So, balance about 30 crore of TC.
Okay.
About 10 crore of, or even less, hardly 5 crore of vinyl sulfone at SPS.
Okay.
And about 20 to 30 crore of maintenance capex.
So roughly 50-60 crore in between, 55-60 crore?
Yeah, this is something which we have already planned.
Okay. Thanks a lot and all the best.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Participants are requested to limit their questions to 2 per participant. Time permitting, you may come back in the queue for a follow-up. The next question is from the line of Sarvana Vishwanathan from Unifi Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so hello?
Yes, sir.
So, if I heard you right, you mentioned that HACid prices have increased to 750 and vinyl sulfone to 350 as of now?
Yeah, 325 at present. 325. Correct.
So, given this scenario, would you focus more on selling the dye intermediates, or dye stuff expanded capacities also will be utilized?
That depends upon the timing. Dye intermediate prices has improved, so correspondingly dye stuff price will also improve. But if we find it is better to sell dye intermediates, then we can do to some extent that.
Okay.
But there is no clear straight policy.
No, but do you have any long-term contracts for supply of dye stuff which you have to honor anyway? The requirements of dye intermediates for those dye stuff business cannot be channelized, right?
Yeah, initially, definitely we have about 1 to 2 months dye stuff contract on hand, not more than that. Yeah. So we cannot transfer total production for sale.
Yeah. No, out of the, let's say, 29,000 metric tons dye stuff capacity, how much is channelized to long-term contracts, which you have to service anyway, and you cannot route that those dye intermediates to the trade?
Yes, hello, this is Ankit here. I'll try to answer that to you.
Yeah.
We don't have any long-term contracts, first of all, in our dye stuff or intermediates. Okay. Since we have large capacities and large production numbers, our orders can go about around 1 month, even 45 days sometimes. But that's a routine practice for the industry. So other than that, we don't have any long-term contracts. So let's say if vinyl sulfone and HACid prices have gone up, then if they have gone up from this week, then all our dye stuff orders from this week will be from the new rates only. So we have nothing to do, and none of our capacities are blocked by our dye stuff orders or anything.
Okay. So let's say if we move to dye intermediates because prices realizations are better there, and then once the prices stabilize, would we get customers for our expanded dye stuff capacity?
Yes, but if you look at it from a different angle, it is not going to stop our dye stuff business at all. It is also going to continue working. See, if I can get 750 rupees per kg by selling HACid directly to the customer, I can take that 750 rupees into the costing of dye stuff and I can still sell the dye stuff.
Okay.
Because there are very few players in the industry which are integrated into dye stuff and intermediates.
Okay.
So whenever the dye intermediates like acid and vinyl sulfone prices go up in a very short time, the price increase passes on to the dye stuff immediately. I would say from the same day only. Because there is no other choice, because there are many dye stuff players. There are more than 300 dye stuff players, and there are in HS and VS there are hardly about 20 players, both products combined.
Okay. So either way, you expect to benefit.
And parallelly, what is happening in last couple of years is that dye stuff is also now being exported to China, because these acid and vinyl sulfone and other intermediate prices are fluctuating all the time.
Yeah.
Dye stuff, textile companies have started buying dye stuff from India as well, because integrated players like Bodal and others, they can offer consistently good prices.
Understood. And the second question, this GIDC land purchase of 85 crores. What is the project about? Could you give us some color on that?
So we have not finalized any particular project that we are planning to do there.
Yeah.
We are still in the process of finalizing what combination we want to start, and we are still strategizing that. So it's not possible for me to disclose any project right now. But we do have
there won't be any capex relating to that land purchase.
No, FY19 there will not be anything at all, because we have to get the environmental clearance as well for any project that we wish to do, and that is around 10 months process. So which we'll do in coming couple of months, and after that we have to wait for at least another 10 months just to start any project.
Okay.
So there may be small capex related to maybe some water connection, electricity connection from the GIDC. Okay. But that will not be a very large number or towards the capex for the project, just for the land development fund.
Could you confirm whether it is this project is also into the existing segments like dye stuff or dye intermediates, or it could be a altogether new segment as well, or you're still deliberating on that?
No, what we are trying to do is, we are trying to find a good product line where we can create another integrated business model, just like what we have created in our dye stuff segment. There are other projects, which still integrate to some extent into our existing business, and that also opens a new area for us. So we have identified a few areas like that will integrate to some extent in our existing Bodal business, and as well as it will start a new category of chemicals.
Okay. Because, why the specific questions, like thionyl chloride beautifully fits into our scheme of things. So, but whenever we have tried to do some new project, like say LAPSA or even water chemicals, the success has not, in terms of at least timelines, has not been as per our initial expectations. So given that dynamics, we just wanted to know whether it is the dye and dye intermediates where you have strong capabilities, or the new projects wherein there is a time risk.
No, it's not like we've only done dye stuff and intermediates. We've also done a few other basic chemical projects, that where we did a capex of more than 150 crores combined, and that has all been active since 2007, 2009. They also contribute very well to our top line and bottom line. So I would not say that we are only do successfully dyes and dye intermediate business. We've also done some liquid dyes, that is also, there are very few players in that as well, which has a different technology completely. And sulfuric acid, which is entirely different technology, only a couple of other players in the entire industry are integrated up to that extent. So I would not say that just because, a couple of the projects, LAPSA is more like a effluent treatment plant for us. When we decided to put up LAPSA business, that was actually for sulfuric acid, which was not realizing even up to the cost amount from the markets at that point. So we just tried to add some value addition into that and convert it into a different product and sell it in the market. So we tried to do that, but meanwhile, while we were executing the LAPSA business, the sulfuric industry has been transformed and changed completely. And now sulfuric acid is being sold in the market at a very good premium. So now we don't need to convert it much into the LAPSA and, try to sell it as LAPSA. So that's one of the reasons why, we are not very keen on LAPSA business or don't produce too much of LAPSA. And Trion, like you said, yes, water treatment chemicals, that we are facing some difficulties, but it is because of not because of any technical problems. The plant is already run very well. We were able to get a good production as well. But the problem was something which was out of our control. Caustic prices and chlorine prices went lifetime high. So that's one problem. And another chemical, we are dependent on Chinese. So again, there were some plant shutdowns and all. So this was an extraordinary period which was out of our control. So last, couple of quarters, we just couldn't do anything about it. But in the long run, we are confident that, we'll get it on track and it will be a good value addition to our entire top line and bottom line.
Understood. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you. Participants are requested to limit their questions to 2 per participant. Time permitting, you may come back in the queue for a follow-up. The next question is from the line of Manish Oswal from Nirmal Bang. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. I joined the call little late, so maybe I repeated you.
Manish, you're not audible.
Sir, I joined the call little late, so maybe I repeated a few questions. First, on the subsidiary side, both the Tricon and SPS, the performance of this 2017-18, both are making losses. So, in your outlook, you said that we expect improvement in the profitability of performance of these subsidiaries. So, can we expect they are turning into black, or what kind of improvement we can see, magnitude of improvement?
Yeah, definitely. SPS will definitely generate profit very soon because H acid and vinyl sulfone price as such has improved very much. And these are the 2 products this company is going to produce. Yes, in Trion, it may take some more time. And there is a new industry for us, but market is very big. So we are waiting. But definitely we are cutting losses very soon. And maybe by the year end or next half year, it will start generating some profit.
Secondly, sir, in our export business, what average currency we have taken for this quarterly numbers, and at the current level, I mean, in terms of 5% depreciation of INR, what would be the positive impact? What kind of positive impact we can have on our numbers, profitability, basically?
See, in presentation we have mentioned that for last year our average realization was about 63. And which has now improved to 67, 68 level.
Right.
Last year itself, our export in million terms was 52 million. So corresponding effect is there. But we cannot consider direct benefit for the company because our customers are also monitoring this currency fluctuation. So some part we have to pass on to them also.
Yeah, but you have written in your outlook only the dollar is becoming stronger again, which may add to better profitability.
Yes, that will definitely add to better profitability, but not 100%.
Sure.
Whatever fluctuation is there, it's not 100%.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jatin Damania from Kotak Securities. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Sir, just wanted to get the few numbers on the dye stuff. As you stated that your new CapEx phase 1 has started in the month of March. So can you help us in knowing the utilization for the month of April and May?
It's like the starting point. So in these 2 months, then hardly 10% utilization is there. But it will soon increase. And by the year end, we are hoping that overall year's average should be about 50%.
So what will the revenue that we are going to expect from this new facility, and what will be the die intermediate sales once the phase 1 operates at 50% utilization?
See, at the improved pricing, we are hoping at least 150 crore revenue will get added in current year from die stuff. But at the same time, die intermediate revenue will fall, say by 70 to 75 crore. So net 70 to 75 crore addition will be there in the top line from this die stuff project for the current year.
So that means if we operate this facility at 50% in this financial year, and probably if we take it to optimum utilization of 80-85% for the next financial year, do we assume that the phase 2, which is of another 12,000 tons, will come in 21-22, or is there anything beyond that as well?
Around that.
So phase 2 and 21-22. And so
yeah.
On this Trion and SPS, if you look at the SPS number and the Trion number, can you help us with the EBITDA and the profit performance also on SPS and Trion?
Yeah, that we have mentioned in our presentation.
Oh, okay. So, and in Trion, how much time, because the earlier when we initiated or started the business, the margin was as high as 20% in the Trion business. So what are the margin trends currently?
Currently, it is difficult to say because the raw material prices are at higher side. At the same time, it is fluctuating. You might be aware that chlorine, which was say 6-7 months before -5, that has reached to +7 rupees. At the same time, caustic that has reached to 45-50 level. Now once again it has come to 40 level also. So they are fluctuating, but definitely very much lower compared to what we have estimated when the project was started.
So do we expect this trend to continue at least for full year of FY19, or probably, or in FY20 also we should see the pain?
See, this year itself we expect that losses will be reduced and some profit this unit will start generating.
So what is the revenue that you are expecting from Trion in this financial year?
It is difficult to say because we are still waiting. Plant is not operating at present.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. And coming to this on your SPS facility, now since we have done FY18 revenue of 70 crores and another we have assumed that 90 crores is possible. Now this 90 crores we are assuming that the current price of 720 and 320, 725 and 325 sustains, right?
No, even if the last year's average is there, then we can generate about 170 crore turnover at the full year basis in that company.
So at the last year average also we can generate the full this revenue?
Yes.
Okay. So my last question is on the fundraise, the QIP that we did of 225 crores, of which how much did we already spend and how much is there on our book?
See, QIP fund, once we raise, that merge with the system. So there is no separate specification that this fund is of QIP and this is internal accrual. But as we mentioned earlier, we have done about 230 crore of capex for this year. And there is about 20 crore of liquid fund type of things at the year end, which is even better at present.
Okay, sir. That's all from my side. If there are any further question, I'll further join.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Varun Kia from Qtr4 Capital Advisors. Please go ahead.
Hello. So I have a few questions. First of all, what are the utilization levels for LAPSA and liquid dye stuff?
Liquid dye stuff and LAPSA has a very low utilization level.
Hello?
Yeah, hold on for a minute. Last year we did about 12 crore of turnover in liquid dyestuff. That shows about 12 to 13% utilization. And LAPSA, 18 crore of turnover, and that suggests hardly 20% of utilization.
So the capacity stands at 18,000 for LAPSA and 3,600 for liquid dye stuff. That you are going to expand double both of the capacities?
No. See, LAPSA it is 18,000 per annum, and liquid dye stuff it is 10,000 per annum. And we are not expanding in any of this capacity. Earlier we were considering to expand for LAPSA, but that we have put hold.
Okay. And this utilization level will remain here only, or do you see them increasing this year?
As Ankit Bhai mentioned, LAPSA is a kind of effluent treatment plant for us. So over there we are not much focusing. Whenever sulfuric acid price is lower, then we operate that plant. But yes, liquid dye stuff, we are doing hard effort to improve that. And that will improve, but it will take time. It may take some more time.
Okay. And what is the captive consumption of dye intermediates in percentage terms?
Dye intermediate captive consumption is almost 40%.
So that will increase next year, right?
Yes, that will definitely increase.
And how much revenue do you expect from this thionyl chloride this year?
Thionyl chloride is a low-value item. So at the annual run basis, it will not add more than, say, 25 crore of revenue. But about 30% of its production will get captively consumed. So it will add more on a bottom line than on a top line.
Okay. And lastly, this increment in H acid and vinyl sulfide prices will be reflected in this quarter, or is there a lag effect? No, it should get reflected from next quarter, because hardly 1 month is left, and we already have sold about 1 month's product for both these products. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Srinath Sridhar from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Good afternoon, sir. Can I have the sales volume in Trion?
Yeah. It's about 1,000 metric ton.
Okay. Sir, given that you say that almost 40% you use dye intermediates captively.
Yeah.
So last year, right, you said this is. So 60% will be outside sales, so which is 13,400 metric tons. So given your production is 22,300 tons, so your outside sales would be about 13,400 and 589 crores of top line, which gives me a realization of 4,40,000. Is that accurate?
No, in that case, we need to work out in detail, because there are various products having various prices. Some product like vinyl sulfone that was ranging between 200 to 300, but some product that is gamma acid, FC acid, DASA, they are even more than 500 rupees per kg. So it depends upon the mix, what mix we have sold in that period.
Right. Okay, fine. Apart from that, in FY18, your raw material cost as a percentage of sales was actually better than FY17.
Correct.
Your margins have actually gone down because of other expenses and employee expense. So can you throw some light about next year's margins, given that this year you had a lot of new capexes that you had to put up? So given that you all manage raw material prices well, it improved by almost 270 basis points on a year-on-year basis. So going forward, what margin trajectory can we see next 2 years?
See, if you can recollect, since last 4 years, we have been guiding market that though we are generating 17 to 19% EBITDA consistently, but bare minimum EBITDA for our business is something 15% also.
Right.
At the same time, the initiative which we have took, that is cogeneration power plant, PC, die-stuff expansion, once all this will be fully functional, our bare minimum EBITDA will increase to about 18%.
So in FY9, so cogen is already up, right?
Yes, that is already started. But initially, that is not fully functioning because some starting up issue is there because it's a kind of customized plant. But it will be fully operational or in a way contributing from next half year.
Okay, so this year from 17% EBITDA, can we at least see 17.5?
Yes, that should be there, and the improved prices will lead to even better than that.
After thionyl chloride, you're saying?
Yeah. At the same time, vinyl sulfone and HFC improved prices can lead to some extent even better.
Okay, yeah. Sir, apart from that, your others that you mentioned in your slide, you said that 51 crores of sales is coming from others. But LAPSA and liquid dye stuff, you said only 30 crores are there. What are these other 20 crores?
See, there are several other products which we do not classify it into even basic chemicals.
Okay.
A kind of HCl, effluent, etc.
Okay. Okay, so that is, it will be a combination of various products, you mean?
Various small products. Even we sometimes sell salt, etc.
Okay, and this sales volume in SPS, you're saying that now you're going to put up a 6,000 metric ton vinyl sulfone from, earlier you said 4,200, right?
Yeah, that we have improved.
Okay.
Originally it was 4,200, but later on we has increased that capacity.
But what about the gas availability? You said Reliance, there were some issues. So when will this be up and running full?
It is still there, and we are hoping it should start functioning from next quarter. It has been delayed further.
No, it won't get delayed further than this, right?
It should not.
And what will be the capex for this?
Total, we are spending about 20 crore for this.
You said 5 crores vinyl sulfone.
5 crore is something pending which will get spent during current year. Almost 15 crore we have already spent last year.
Okay, you have already spent. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. I'll come back for any further questions.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ashish from B&K Securities. Please go ahead. Ashish, your line is unmuted. Please go ahead with your questions. As there's no response, the next question is from the line of Siddharth Purohit from SMC Global. Please go ahead.
Hello.
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 Yes, please continue.
Hello.
Yes, please continue.
So the price rise both for HFC and vinyl sulfone seems very high currently. So any sort of information, what is the supply-demand gap overseas, particularly in Chinese market in terms of tonnage? Or how many tonnage of plants has gone out of production in the recent months?
So, very difficult to tell, comment on the supply-demand gap. But world's largest dye-stuff player, which is Ubeishi, which was closed 2 years ago for more than a year, their plant is actually shut down. So because of that and another large player in a different area, their plant is also shut down. So because of these shutdowns, the prices are increasing almost every day.
Okay. So, and just one more thing, we've been listening from some even media sources and all that. Maybe this sort of plants which has gone out of production might also kind of relocate to new geographies within China, and they might get into production mode in FY20 onwards. So is it happening, or it is a complete kind of permanent shutdown of those sort of plants and a kind of very long-term sustainable pricing environment? How do you look into?
As per my knowledge, I have not heard any confirmed news about any of these companies relocating to elsewhere in China. I think that is not that easy. Reason being that being the raw materials availability, it's again a much larger country than India. So if you're away from the ports, if you are in some isolated place, then your viability is not there. Because then you have to get all the raw materials from the industrial areas which are all near the coastal areas of China, not too far from coastal areas. And then again, all the consumption also takes place in the eastern China area. So if you put your place all the way up in North China or western part of China, then all the consumption and raw material is on the eastern part. So then the viability issues will be there. So I don't think it is that easy. It's just like, most of the chemical industries in Gujarat and Maharashtra in India, then having a HSL or vinyl sulfone plant in Assam will be very unviable. So similarly, I think, and again, they have to compete with the Indians and other countries for dyes also. So it's probably not the very practical move. And again, it is one country, so I don't think that China will really allow allow the companies to pollute like they used to do.
Okay, sir. Fair enough. That's all from my side.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nav Bharadwaj from Anand Rathi. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, gentlemen. Rather a follow-up. Most of the questions have been answered. So a follow-up question to the previous one that you were saying. How long do you think, sir, this price rise is sustainable? Like in 2014, 2013, we had a jack-up in prices, and do you think that similar levels, how long can this sustain that we are at right now?
So 2013 was a H-acid crisis, and that time also nobody was sure, and getting the correct information from China is always a difficult thing. Again, in 2014-15, vinyl sulfone stuff was happening, and Bodal, which is the largest company in the world, that was shut down, and earlier there were news that will be shut for 3 months, and there was news for 6 months, and then ultimately they were closed for about a year. So it's very difficult to tell. There is a whole new development which is around Yangtze River, which is the largest river in China and the third largest river of the world. Right. Recently, the President Xi Jinping hosted Mr. Narendra Modi there in a city called Wuhan. Right. That was also on the banks of Yangtze River. And while Mr. Jinping was there, he had visited chemical factories and hydro power dams and the localities and all. So there's what we hear and what we read from the news is that they have started a new policy to not pollute Yangtze River further. Just like what happened around Ganga River. When Mr. Modi became the Prime Minister. And they started all that campaign. So similar thing is happening there. And what we hear and what we read is that there won't be any chemical plants allowed 1 kilometer within the 1 kilometer distance from the river. Mm-hmm. But naturally, a lot of the plants are actually situated on the river bank. Right. So you can discharge the effluent. So this is a very big development. If you look at the map of Yangtze River, that's also, it falls right in the main economic belt of China. Right. So it's a very big movement. I mean, how far they take it, how seriously they take it, how far and how seriously they implement it, it all depends on that.
Great. And also, a very qualitative statement, rather speculative. Have you ever been approached by any of these companies that have been shut down for long-term contracts supplied to China as of right now?
In fact, there are at least about 15-20 Chinese, senior officials from some of the biggest companies of the world in Ahmedabad right now. So every day new Chinese people are arriving in Ahmedabad, and they've all realized that the prices are going to shoot up or continue to shoot up even more. So they are trying to buy quantities on a daily spot pricing basis, even for longer time. But then obviously nobody is going to sell for the large quantities or for longer time right now.
Okay.
So yes, that is happening. Even Chinese companies are visiting people here for joint venture possibilities and all that.
Oh, so joint JVs are being explored right now as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. That's it from my side.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manish Jain, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Good evening. My question is regarding depreciation policy. In 2014, we changed our depreciation policy from straight line method to WDV. And in 2018, we are again changing that from WDV to straight line method. What is the reason behind this?
See, in 2014, we were being guided by some other consultant that this is a better policy, and at that time we changed the policy. But this was the first year for us as the implementation of Ind AS. At the same time, Deloitte was the auditor for the first year. So at the implementation of Indian accounting standard, we were being asked by our consultant that you should review all the policies which we are adopting or which we are following. So during that process, we come to know that this is a policy which what we are following is not parallel with the industry practice or at the same time practice which is followed by major listed corporate in India. So we thought that it is better to be parallel with all other players, and that's why we changed this policy.
Okay, so because of this and exceptional item of 5 crore rupees because of sales of plant, so it adds something around 13 to 15 crore to our bottom line this year?
This year it has add about 8 to 9 crore in the bottom line.
And 5 crore because of the exceptional item?
5 crore exceptional item is in the last year, not in current year.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Payal Malvania from Vav Investments. Please go ahead.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
I wanted to ask about the bifurcation of how much percent of VS and H acid contribute towards the total turnover of the company.
It's about, it ranges between 40 to 45% of the total turnover of the company.
VS will be how much, sir?
Both ranges between 20 to 25%.
Okay, both are equally contributing towards your...
More or less equal.
Okay, so joining them together, it would be around 40 to 45% of the total revenues of the company.
Yes, that is there, but that now depends upon the pricing.
Okay. Now, what do you further anticipate the pricing to be of VS and H acid as they are rising as of now, right, due to the China impact?
Yeah, that was being fully explained by Ankit Bhai, that we can't say how long it will sustain.
Okay.
But at the same time, in our previous experience, as he mentioned, that when Hubei Chuan was closed earlier, they could restart after about 1 year.
Okay, which company are you talking about, sir? I just missed out the company's name, Chinese manufacturing company.
It's Hubei Chuan.
Can you come again, please?
It's HUBEI, Hubei.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
and Chuan. Chuyan. Chuan.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks very much and all the best.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
The next question is from the line of Parag Khare from TCS. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. Sir, what kind of EBITDA growth we are forecasting for FY19?
See, earlier also I have answered this question that last 4 or 5 years we have been generating 17 to 19% EBITDA. But there has been some extraordinary effect because of the China. And what bare minimum EBITDA we are guiding to market is about 15%. But because of the improvement, what we did in our plant, that is the cogeneration power plant, thionyl chloride plant, at the same time capacity expansion in dyestuff plant. Once all these plants are operating, our minimum EBITDA should increase up to 18%. And effect from China can lead to further improvement.
Okay. And sir, you forecast for the top line growth, considering whatever comes into the production and various measures which you have taken?
Top line also, see, in dyestuff expansion, we can add about 70 crore turnover for this year and another about similar figure next year. And in SPS processors, VS plant will start functioning and that will give annual turnover of about 90 crore.
Okay. And one last question, sir. Any debt reduction plan in FY19? Are we repaying something?
No. Presently, what debt we are using is packing credit in foreign currency, and that costs us hardly 3 to 4%. So we do not have any plan to reduce it further. Whatever extra generation is there, that is we are deploying into liquid fund, etc.
Okay, sir. Yeah. All the best for Q1 and FY19. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Due to time constraints, that was the last question. I now hand the conference over to the management for their closing comments. Any closing comments from your end?
Yes. It was a good experience. Thank you. Thank you very much. If anybody's question is remain unanswered, then they can contact us directly. Thank you.